What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fargo Picasso here with another art tip video. This one's going to be about me kind of piggybacking off the thing I said in my last video about kind of master studying different mangaka and like trying to pick up on things that they do. So yeah, here you guys can see that I'm working on a panel from Bleach. You know, TT Kubo, that's the GOAT. Gotta kind of use him as that reference. But yeah. So really, all I'm kind of really trying to aim for in this video is just trying to show like my process of like how I go about trying to do a master study, like what way, like what kind of like techniques that I would use. But everybody does everything different, so it's just the general idea that I want to show. But so far, yeah, I really just wanted to ask everybody out there, like, what's your way of studying manga, like, or just art in general, like. Do you guys do master studies? Do you go through YouTube tutorials? Do you read books? Because I know everybody does things differently. I, for one, will tell you guys that I was a big YouTube tutorial guy. So I watched a bunch of people that did what I liked and just tried to replicate that. And now I've definitely been trying to be someone who is doing more of a master study, like kind of a technique to learn. Not that either is bad or one is better than the other. Like, everybody learns different ways. So my personal preference would be that I am very lacking in reading. It's very, very difficult for me to like read. I don't know. I am an artist, but like I try my hardest to like read books. But it doesn't go as planned all the time. So it's a bit difficult. Right now, currently though, I am reading Shonen Jump's How to Make a Manga book, which is a great book that I mentioned before that I will suggest to anyone who is going down the path of being a mangaka. It is so useful. It is so great. I would recommend it to everyone. Another good book that I actually, what's weird is I'm very close to being done with this art book. I've just gotten complacent. A lot of life changes going on, but Michael Hampton's figure drawing book. Very, very, very good book. Like, and I actually noticed that he did a segment on Proco recently that I watched through. It was so good, man. I was so excited to watch that. Like, that dude is like the GOAT of teaching anatomy. It's so crazy. Like, I learned so much so quickly just reading that book. I would suggest it to anyone. Definitely read Michael Hampton's figure drawing book. So far, as you guys can see, like in the time lapse behind me, you kind of pick up on the fact that I'm just kind of like doing a lot of measuring. What's one thing that could really save you a lot of time is definitely measure out everything, because in the end here, there's still parts of the proportions that I just didn't like, that I ended up using the liquify tool to like adjust. But yeah, you know, measure twice, once. We all know that like old saying. I think it's perfect for art, like measure twice and you won't have to erase, you only have to draw it once. So definitely take your measurements into account, because that can save you a lot of time, because if you do it right the first time, you won't have to do it again. But there's no shame in doing it wrong, right? But like, definitely do your due diligence by measuring as much as you can. I can already even see some of the issues I had. Like, it's funny looking back at this, because obviously this is a voiceover, but like I can see like where I messed up. Like, I didn't measure properly the length of the face to the actual like torso, so that like kind of misguided me in the size of the face. You can see it's a little bit rounder, or like, I guess, like, you know, shorter. The face is just shorter. It should be a little bit longer, especially like which we all know with Kubu style. Like, he typically makes faces very, very slender and long. Like, if you like ever seen like Ichigo's face, just like compared to like the old manga, he actually used to draw it like more roundish, but like as the manga went on, the faces started to get more like defined and like more like proportionately like stretched. I guess he was just coming into his own way. Like, I felt like he was just going into a more of a sense of realism, because I always felt that with Bleach. Like, I felt like the proportions were a lot more realistic than most manga for its time. Because if you look at Naruto, it's a bit more deformed, or if you look at like One Piece, which is like very deformed, but like every character looks different, so it's like it's kind of hard to tell, but whatever. Now I'm heading into like the lining phase of this. I actually had a lot of fun lining this because I was trying out some more experimental stuff. Like I never really used like the real G Pen too much, but like I don't know, I started to like fall in love with the regular G Pen a lot, but I really wanted to see what I can do if I just used the real G Pen, so I went back to that. But yeah, like the things that I really kind of enjoyed with this was just like getting to see like where the shadows go, like what lines are like more like pronounced, I guess, and more like what's the word I'm looking for? It's at the tip of my tongue, but I just can't think about it. Superimposed. There we go. Sorry, but those lines are very, very important. You don't even notice it. Like I did not even notice it at first because it's just so subtle. But the more and more I went on with the project, I started to really see that like those lines are very, very important. So guys, as you can see here, like I've already like been working on this for a minute. And then just already I can see a lot of like the things that I've like made like mistakes on compared to the original. You know, like for one, like her jawline is incorrect on this side, and then on this side it actually is fine. I just have to like correct this. I can correct that pretty easily, but for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna show that like, you know, it is a mistake. I kind of want to leave it. I'll post a corrected version probably like on Instagram or something, but you know, the general idea is there. You know, you're looking and observing. It's just really like trying your hardest to really tap into that like master study of like what the author themselves would have probably like done. Like at one point you can see that I am making lines like this and then filling them for like tiny lines, but instead I shouldn't be doing that. I should be like doing more of like a, you know, to kind of recreate like the wisp of the hair coming down, or like instead of like going back and like rethickening an area, I should rather just be like looking to exercise that mark in one stroke, or either like building on it. But you know, it is digital. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You can do it whatever way you choose, but you know, I'm also just thinking about efficiency. If like, you know, you want to make this like a career, you want to make sure that you can do things in an efficient way, and whatever is efficient for you may not be efficient for anyone else. So just do it the way you think you can. But me personally, I'm gonna do it that way. And now that we're back into the time-lapse section of this video, we're gonna be really starting to see like some of the finishing touches I went through, and just, you know, the overall process that I did to finish this up, because there's not much lines left. You know, all we have is the shirt and the kimono, but regardless, you know, it's her clothes are the things that we're finishing up finally. So, and I have the eyes, but here's a thing though, guys. Like I am so like terrified of like lining in the eyes, because I always feel like once I do that point, that's where I start to see the most like mistakes that I've made. Cause I'm just like, oh, the eyes are the wrong size, or they're just not working out, like, or this eye is crooked and this one isn't. Like you just start to see like a lot of your like flaws through that, which, you know, those are okay. That's how you learn, but it's just for my sanity's sake, I do them after everything, because, you know, you just want to know that everything else is looking good. Personally, I also feel like if you do the hair and build the hair around the face, so like if I draw the head, draw the hair, I know how much space I have between the forehead, the eyes, etc., right? But this is more so for master studying. Like if you draw that way regularly, like you obviously have a pretty good understanding of like the hair or the character you want. Like it works really well with like characters who are already created, or a character that you have like a very good idea of in your head that you're planning to create. And now I'm heading into the eyes section. I really take my time with this one. I try to make sure that like I do my best to replicate the eyes of the character, make sure that like it's just doing it justice. You know, at the end of the day, like you want to be doing these guys justice. It's your favorite mangaka, so do it justice. Make sure that you take your time with it. Make sure you really do your best to show out and take in what they make. This part right here was one of my hardest struggles, was the glasses, because I realized that the glasses like were actually placed offset, and like I had to readjust the first lens that I did, because it made me realize I was like, oh, these are like kind of not lining up, and I had to like redo this one thinking that was the problem, only to find out that the first lens was the problem. And you can actually see me stretching and in distress in the video, because I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, why is this not working? I even tried mistransforming it at one point to see if that was an issue, and this is exactly what I was talking about though. Like the face is where you find most of your problems, like especially on like a bust pose, because it's just like that's just like the main focus. So you're just like everything comes back to the face, so it's like it has to be like proportionately correct or it's just gonna look off to you. I definitely was feeling that here hard, because it's like I didn't understand. I was like, what's wrong here? Why is this not working? Tried out some different hatching techniques with the eyes, and I actually ended up really liking that. And this is my attempt at trying to recreate the same hatching he did, but like I don't think I did it correctly. It's just something that I'm definitely like, it's good that I see it, because it's definitely an area of improvement for me. Now I have to think about that now, like, because I know I could have done that better. And I'm taking the time to learn that. Realistically, I think I should have left it like that. It would have been really nice with just the single hatching, but I wanted to attempt the double hatching that he did, but I guess I just didn't do it right. And it did not turn out the way I liked, but hey, better to try than not try, right? Now I'm heading into the last segment of this time lapse, you guys. So we pretty much covered most of the things that I wanted to here. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that like there's a lot of use of like cross contour lines through cross hatching on the clothes, which is another like great thing I learned here. It definitely helps show the form and show like the perspective and direction that like the shadows are hitting and the clothes is like laying on the character. Definitely like a good thing that I picked up there that I wish that like I knew way earlier before like working on anything on my own. But now I know this. I want to do more of these master studies though, just for you guys, so look out for more of them in the future. So here we are, everybody. We're at the end of this master study, and you can really see like the difference between what I did and what TT Kubo did. And really all I was trying to do is capture the main essence of it, and really try to like study like I said, the line weight variation, proportions, things like that. For the most part, I feel like I got the proportions kind of close, but like there were some things like I definitely made the face a little bit wider, but it might not even be that. It could just be like the placement of the nose and the eyes that are just distorting it for me. I can go back and measure those things, but the idea of it all is like you want to get roughly as close to it as you can, because the next time you do this, the more and more you'll pick up on things that the artist does that you may not even be realizing that he or she does. So all in all, like just make sure when you're doing these studies, you're actively thinking about like things such as like these lines or like how the cross hatching is going, things like that. Like just be very like cognitive of those things and be very aware that like studying with intention is what I really mean to say. But for the most part, really appreciate you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a nice day.